Welcome back to another episode of Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Thanks for joining us. We are here to do our They Think It's All Over draft. So myself, Byron and Joe, just the three of us for this draft, we'll be talking through our favourite last-minute winners, buzzer beaters, walk-offs, those classic endings to win games, championship series from all across the sports world. That's what we're going to do in this episode. Before that, we'll talk about the latest news in the NFL, of which there has been not very much. It's been a quiet week since our last episode, which was our Revenge Games episode, where we looked ahead to the best revenge games in the 2024 season. If you've not listened to that or watched that yet, go check it out on our Spotify, Good Teams and Great Teams Cover, or over on our YouTube at GTW_GTC, where you can also find us under the same handle on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at GTW_GTC. Smooth intro for once. Love it. Byron, Joe, how are you both doing?
Yeah, grand, yeah. Quiet weekend, bank holiday weekend. How about you?
Yeah, how was Memorial? It was Memorial weekend, yeah?
Yeah, very solemn and respect the troops, etc. I've learned you don't say Happy Memorial Day because it's not a thing to celebrate. It's a day to, thank the troops for their service and those who aren't here.
Take a moment to remember the troops. Oh. Joe, how was your weekend?
Yeah, too bad. We didn't have a bank holiday this weekend, so I was working on Monday, unfortunately. So, but yeah, not too bad. Just waiting for this weather to start being a lot better and for summer to begin, because it's missing out on quality balcony chilling out time. But it's just been like I'm back in England, to be honest. So it's hope for the best the next few weeks. Going camping this weekend, so yeah, lots to look forward to.
Nice, good stuff. I had a wonderful weekend as Manchester United, as predicted, won the FA Cup. And also cashed him at 8-1. 8-1 in 90 minutes and 4-1 to lift the trophy. So, yeah, I had a great weekend. That paid for a lot of things. FA Cup.
Congrats. Good value for it as well. I mean, they were good value at 8-1, but yeah, I mean, they didn't sneak it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, very good performance. And hopefully by the time this goes out, Erik ten Hag is still Manchester United's manager. But who knows? Who knows? We will see. A little bit of news we'll cover off in the NFL. Yes, a quiet few days, quiet week since our last draft. OTAs have been in full swing. But what another wide receiver contract extension. We've seen Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're still waiting on CD Lamb and Justin Jefferson. Nico Collins earned himself an extension, $72 million and $72.5 million, including $52 million guaranteed on 3 years. The Texans, again, seem to be doing good business, tying down key pieces.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. Nico Collins was such a breakout last year. He showed slight flashes his first 2 years in the league, not his second year. But yeah, last year he really went off. I mean, having CJ Stroud obviously helps, but I think he really helped CJ Stroud as well. Like he has took a while to get going in the NFL, which is less common than it used to be. But yeah, I mean, I think if he had another year like he did last year, he probably could have got more money next year. But again, you never criticize a player for taking the money when it's there. You know, after his first 2 years, I don't think he would have dreamt he was getting a $72 million contract. So yeah, I love it for the Texans, like it for Nico Collins. Wheels up on the Texans. You know, they've got Tank Dell and Nico Collins on good contracts for the next 3-4 years now. Stephon Diggs on the short term.
I assume Byron's going to finish that sentence. It's a short-term deal. However, he's dropped off. Internet issues in Chicago, strike again. The deal puts Collins in the top 10. I think it's 7th in terms of highest paid wide receivers in the NFL, just ahead of DK Metcalf, averages $24.2 million. Joe, again, Byron, you're back. Excellent. Do you want to finish what you were saying?
Yeah, short-term deal for Stephon Diggs. You've got CJ Stroud under rookie contract for the next few years. Just wheels up for the Texans. I think it's from where they were a few years ago with the Deshaun Watson shambles, for lack of a better word, to where they are now. I think that's been one of the, best organizational flips. You can maybe put the Lions in there as well of recent years. But yeah, both of those franchises, I think, have done such a great job of turning themselves around and only positive going forward, it looks like.
Yeah. Joe, thoughts again, it just seems to be another sensible, good bit of business by the Texans.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. I know people, like you mentioned, is the 7th highest, but I'm sure at the end of the summer it'll not either be top 10 And, if he carries on how he was performing, then, he's going to outperform that contract in a year or two where he's criminally underpaid and the Texans have got a great deal. And, why not sign him now, get him on, especially with the quarterback and, see where he's in 2 or 3 years. That's when Stroud will be coming around to get his big payday and, you see where you go from there. So you might as well just lock in now while you've got that, savings in cash. So like we've said, smart move. It's what good franchises do. And yeah, it's really one of them teams where it'll be a shock if they're not one of the contenders for the AFC, just with everything they've added and what they've done.
Yeah, on that note, so that was just a quick order to flip to, not the AFC, but overall. So Texans are same odds as the Cowboys and Eagles to win the Super Bowl next year at 16-1. I feel like
one of those things is not like the other. I still can't believe the Cowboys' price relative to the Eagles in all of these things.
It's crazy.
They're still tied for the division, and I don't see what the bookies are seeing.
No, I don't get it either. And Texans are 8-1 to win the AFC as well. But I was going to say, I feel like the Texans are well ahead of both the Eagles and the Cowboys at the minute in terms of what they are. Where don't I get the AFC is a bit more stacked, and you've got obviously to find a way to beat the Chiefs. But I know just for a price, it just feels really good value. I think if the Eagles and Cowboys were 16s, I'd have the Texans a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I think like you said, it is that you've got to go through the Chiefs, the Ravens, Bengals. I'm probably forgetting somebody, AFC, Bills. There's a lot of, like I said, it's more stacked. Yeah, I think if you put the Texans in the NFC South, they would probably be name price to win the division, whereas the AFC South, even the AFC South is more competitive than the NFC South, for example. So I think it's just a harder conference to succeed in. I think if they were in the NFC instead of, say, the Cowboys, I think there'd be a shorter price.
Cool. Only other kind of bit of news, it's not really news, it's definitely UK specific. Tickets have started to go on sale for the first of the London games. The Jaguars are going to play the Patriots in the third of the London games at Wembley. I think it's Sunday the 20th of October. Those that had a ticket for the Jaguars-Falcons game last year at Wembley, I've got the option of buying a ticket right now. Positive thing, shout out, whether it's I think it's the Jaguars because it'd be on them. They've frozen the ticket prices from last year, so shout out for that. Fair play. Times are hard. Times are hard and all that.
And they've just turned the back on England, with the new stadium. So maybe it's an olive branch of, we still love you.
Yeah. So yes, Jaguars, Patriots. And I fully expect that to fly out pretty quickly from the ticket sales because there's a ton of New England Patriots fans here in the UK. So we'd expect that to fly out. But tickets, I had to double check because what the Jaguars do really well is they get that game on sale before the Spurs ones. Mm-hmm. So it's because they are so much more difficult to get. I'm not digging at the Jaguars there, but so much more difficult to get the Spurs tickets because it's a smaller stadium, 30,000 seats less. But they just tend to have better games as well, and everybody's maybe a little bit sick of seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Shout out for still keeping to come. So yeah, they get their tickets on sale first, so people might go, "Oh, well, I'll go to that one instead because I can get the tickets now." So yeah, smart move.
Especially the new stadium as well. Guessing more people want to get to see Tottenham's ground and see that. I think probably most people's been to Wembley now. It's so yeah, but yeah, I'll go on.
Yeah, good stuff. So yes, it's coming. And we've just tipped to just less than 100 days to the NFL kickoff. So I think we're probably 97, 98 now days to the NFL kickoff. So we've just hit that halfway point in the off season, kind of between the Super Bowl and the start of the new season. So the dog days of summer are coming, but we'll get there and keep it with good teams and great teams cover because we'll have some amazing off-season content, many more of these stupid drafts to fill the weeks, but also we'll start getting towards our season preview stuff soon enough in the next month or so. We'll start probably doing our State of the Division series with lots of great guests. And yeah, we'll start taking a look at the new season. I want it already. Right. Shall we get to this draft, gents?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I just coined, they think it's all over draft. So we'll be looking at, as I say, games that those last-minute winners, walk-offs, buzzer beaters, those crazy ways to finish games and win games right at the very end. We're going to draft our best ones. We're going to do 4 rounds, so we'll have 12 picks and should have a few honourable mentions. Couldn't quite work out a guest for this one. Yeah. How are we feeling about this one? I found this quite difficult to prepare for. I thought it was going to be quite easy, and then I just had loads of football, soccer things on my list, and I was like, well, that's not kind of what we're doing here, so I have to do a bit more digging.
Yeah, I probably could have done 10 rounds of footy. So I really had to try and like dig deeper into other sports, try and find some examples because, yeah, football lends itself so well to it. I think it's such a low scoring game that like one goal, is so definitive. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing some research on it and looking back at some of the famous ones, I guess. Maybe some less famous ones maybe as well on my list. But yeah, it was really fun to look back on.
Cool. Because we're all gonna vote between us as we always do, and we'll put up on polls after, so let's gonna decide the winners. What's gonna attract you to this? What's kind of what are you looking for in a winning board? What do you think you're gonna see? Or what's gonna attract you to it? It's a terrible question, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's what's at stake. I think that helps if it's because I think like what Byron said, there's a lot of like soccer games, there's lots like basketball games where it's like the last. But if it's like a regular season, no one really cares. So it's about the importance of it, the drama of it, the overall occasion. Did it and what like? Because I think when I went through some of them had like a big cultural impact, not just on like that season and what happened, but the actual what it did to the country and everything like that. So I think I'm looking at all of that kind of thing and just hoping we don't get any like food eating competitions where someone just ate a hot dog in the last second to pick someone.
What I am hoping for, I don't know if I want to tip my hand here. I want the last round to have the best pick in it.
That would be good, yeah.
Very meta.
Oh.
I want the last minute winner pick to be the last minute winner pick.
I don't want to hold off though, because then I'm not going to lose my. Oh.
Yeah, that's all the pressure on Paul.
No, I'm just gonna have to do it. Okay, yeah. Well, we'll have no Joey Chestnuts. We're not becoming an anti-Joey Chestnut podcast, by the way. That's not happening.
When we do our eating podcast, Joey Chestnut all the way. When we do our sports ones, we'll maybe leave him off.
Should we see if his competitions are on ESPN, it's sport.
I am
because it's ESPN the Ocho, still ESPN.
Yeah, I'm not sure ESPN's my go-to.
The worldwide leader in sports.
Self-declared. Yeah, I'm going to call Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover the world leader in sports betting. So put that on that might get clipped for TikTok.
Back United 8-1. Damn right we are.
Yeah, that did make it to TikTok as well. I finally got some content on there.
It did. Great clip. Right, so I'll start. I'm the number one pick. So it's me. What's the order? Me, Byron, Joe?
That's correct.
Yeah. Cool. And we'll snake it, even though there's only three of us. Yeah, we'll still snake it. So with the number one overall pick, and they think it's all over draft, and that couldn't be a more apt name for this pick as well. Let me take you back to the 26th of May, 1999. The location is Barcelona, the Nou Camp. Manchester United are playing Bayern Munich in the final of the UEFA Champions League. And look, I can't say it any better than Clive Tilsley did at the time. And Solskjaer has won it. That is my favourite one, personal one, but I also think it's the best one in terms of last-minute winners. Joe, you mentioned you wanted something that had stakes, drama. This certainly had it. Manchester United were absolutely pummeled by Bayern Munich over the course of this game. Scored an early goal. They could have been out of sight. They hit the post. Scholl, Janker at the bar. It could have been all over, and the dream of the treble could have died. But United somehow held on in the game, kept it at 1-0, and the super subs, just like they did many times during that season, came up with the goods. Sheringham first to take what you thought would take it to extra time at that point, name on the trophy. And then seconds later, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer toe pokes it in from a Teddy Sheringham flick on. And Manchester United have reached the promised land. First time they won the European Cup for 31 years. And completed the treble. First English team to complete the league, FA Cup, and Champions League / European Cup treble. Just an amazing night in Barcelona. And yeah, that certainly had it all. And it wasn't actually the last kick of the game, but it was pretty much the last kick of the game. And yeah, just what a scene in Barcelona. Thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's winner being the number one pick, and they think it's Aldrich? I feel like you might have known that was coming.
Yeah, that was obviously coming. I think, truthfully, there's 3 really strong football ones that could be the 101, and that's one of them. So I have no problem with the pick. Never liked Man United, never will. But what a moment in football. Like, much as I might not like it, you can't argue the cultural significance of what they wanted to do it. The sheer visuals of it, like Kalina trying to essentially drag the Bayern Munich players off the ground so they would take the kick off. You've got Kafar and Lothar Matthäus just on the ground because their name was on the cup. Utterly iconic moment in English football, European world football. Let's be fair, Man United are one of the, if not the biggest club in the world, one of the top 5 biggest clubs in the world, and to win a Champions League and a treble like that is unprecedented. So
yeah, I think it was Lothar Matthäus' last game before he retired as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Schmeichel's last game for United before he moved on. Yeah.
And again, don't need me blowing smoke up Man United's ass, but having that core of the class of '92 as well is very special. I know Scholes didn't play in it, but got Beckham, Butt, Giggs, the Nevilles. That doesn't happen very often.
No Scholes, no Keane as well.
Yeah, Jesper Blomqvist in there.
Jesper Blomqvist played, Beckham and Butt played central midfield. Yeah. Good times. Do you have any thoughts on and Solskjaer has won it being the number one pick?
Yeah, like what Byron said, there's 1 or 2 you could have chosen, and I think similar to another one where scoring 2 in the last minutes as well. I think that does make it even better because obviously I know this is another comeback draft, but it feels very similar where it gives it extra oomph that there was a winner just 2 seconds. Because if it was just 1-1 going into it and they just scored a winner, it doesn't feel like it would be as big. But no, it was still huge. I remember I was on holiday in Greece watching this. A lot of vivid memories. There was the big room where all the Germans watching it on a little balcony, all the English fans. And as soon as Solskjaer went in, there was no one there. So it was all good fun in Greece, and I've got great memories of it. So it's it was a good first choice.
What a pick.
What a pick.
I never really...
It is a 1 overall. It's not exactly a value.
It was great value. I also missed it on the comebacks draft because I thought I'd be able to hold on to it because you 2 and Dockers weren't going to take it, and then Joe pinched it before I was. I think I took a Tiger Woods coming back to win the Masters after all his troubles. When I should have took it. So got it this time, happy with it. I think it's a solid 1-1. Excellent. Byron, on to you. Pick number 2.
That might be your best first round pick ever. It is a comeback season. I think it's really tough again. I think there's 3 really good football ones. It's kind of really tough to pick the second one. But I am going to go for my personal favourite, Sergio Aguero. 3-2 against QPR. To win City's first title in forever, first Premier League title, kick off the Man City, being a good club, being a winning club regime, leave Fergie at Sunderland looking like he just shit his fucking kegs. Just utterly incredible. I've never seen a Premier League last day like that. Man U Blackburn would be up there in terms of emotion and incredible feeling of it all. But just, again, being in the pub watching it, Man City, as Man City always did do back in the day, make things hard for themselves. They just need to beat relegation battled QPR, who ended up staying up anyway. But, with stoppage time, they're 2-1 down. They just need to win the game. Dzeko obviously gets a last-minute equaliser, and then, we know the rest really. Ball comes through midfield. Balotelli gets his 1 and only Premier League assist in 70 appearances. Aguero rounds the last defender, Tate Taiwo, I believe, and just smashes it home past Paddy Kenny. Everybody goes mental. Martin Tyler's commentary really adds to the moment as well. That's one of those rare ones where the commentary really is just perfect. He doesn't say much, but it's just perfectly delivered. And again, to a lot of people, it is kind of anyone but United, anyone but Liverpool. Man City have always been kind of a punching bag. All the years I was growing up, certainly. I know there won't be now. It'll be anyone but City to a lot of people now. Obviously, that's the way times move. But certainly then a little team like City, even though they were moneyed, winning the title in that fashion was just absolutely incredible. Me and a couple of my friends watching it in Walkabout, those United fans in tears, having tantrums, throwing the shirts on the ground, and the rest of the pub is just in absolute rapture of people who aren't even wearing City. Like I've never been a Man City fan.
Was this in Carlisle?
This in Carlisle, yeah, it was incredible. We don't have much to cheer about for Carlisle, do you know what I mean? We've got to cheer on another underdog instead. Yeah, one of my favourite in the pub watching football memories, just like us all going crazy and these like handful of United fans just absolutely having the worst moment of their life. So yeah, Sergio Aguero, 93-20, finished the 11-12 season as Man City champions.
Can't remember if it's come up before or not, but when we've discussed stuff and other drafts, maybe I don't know. But I was at Sunderland that day, so I'd been to watch United at Sunderland. Beat Sunderland 1-0. Pretty sure Rooney scored. I've scored after about 5 minutes, and then just kind of played the game out, knowing you've done. That's all you could do was win the game.
Yeah,
you couldn't turn around the goal difference because it was crazy. And then when the game finished, QPR was still winning 2-1. So you were like, well, sure, they're not going to score twice. And just a note on that. Do you remember in the game that obviously Joey Barton tried to fight everybody and got sent off?
Yeah, Carlos Tevez as well, I think.
Yeah. He used to play for Man City.
And that was at 1-1 as well. Yeah. That was at 1-1, which is nuts.
And then at the end, for some reason, Sean Wright-Phillips has the ball and just punts it to Joe Hart so City can attack again.
I also read that Jay Boothroyd, like straight from the kickoff, just kicked out for a throw-in both times as well.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah, and then at the end, Cisse was celebrating with Samir Nasri as well.
Yeah.
Anyone but United.
Oh, well.
Everyone's
exactly.
Yeah.
It is one of them now where it's weird because I remember that time I was happy that Man City won because it was anyone but Man U. But as time's going on and on, it doesn't feel as special, even though when I take myself back, it was like, it felt proper special. But like now with what Man City are doing, it's like taking the gloss off it. I think it's still a great pick. I think it's like you said, it's similar way, scored 2 in the last minute, you're losing, you're playing against 10 men, you should be beating QPR and you pulled out, like you said, the commentary as well makes so much of it. But it's just that weird thing now where it doesn't feel as big as it should be just because how dominant they've been the last few years and everything else that's going on with City. But that's what would be my pick too.
This year, it wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not expecting to see, tipping picks here, I'm not expecting to see Man City Aston Villa 3-2.
Oh, take that off my list then.
The Gundogan, you little dancer. I don't think that'll make the list because you're right. Like if that happened now when Man City have won 4 in a row or have been dominant for 10 years, like it isn't as special. But then it was, and
fair, cool. You know what? Obviously, it would be. I couldn't possibly take it, so I didn't put it on my list, but fully expected it to go in these first, maybe first 6 picks. But yeah, cool. So Aguero scoring the last minute winner to give Manchester City their first Premier League title. 2012?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, 2012, as if that were 12 years ago. 2012. Joe, to finish off the first round.
Yeah, I'm going to go away from soccer just to shake it up and, get what I think is probably like for the best pick, non-soccer. For me, this is like more personal, and it is the second test of the 2005 Ashes. And this is what I mentioned beforehand. If that whole series it felt like it took over the nation. It was on Channel 4, so everyone could watch it, and we could have arguments about that. Where all these ones should be on free TV for everyone to watch. But here we go. And it was just huge. Obviously, they lost the first test heavily by 239 runs. It felt like one of them, and again, series against Australia. Against when you look at that team now, it was like full of superstars, full of cricket Hall of Famers, some of the best. Whoever played, and the fact that it was just that second test we had to win. Everything went on. After the first innings we were winning by 99, and suddenly like, we could actually do something here. And then he goes to the second innings, we fall down to 131 for 9, and Flintoff gets us to get a respectable score. And then Australia come in, and you think, oh, it's going to be pretty simple when they're 8 down, needing 107 runs for victory. I remember actually like going to football training and think, oh, we've won that test, it's fine. And then coming back, hearing that there's been some big partnerships with the tail enders, just keeping in, and then that Geordie man, I think it's Geordie, we're certainly up there anyway, decides to bowl a beautiful bouncer, which technically it shouldn't have been given out, but he got called out, and just the celebration and what it meant to the nation, and how that summer was like, it felt like cricket was the number one sport, and it was on everyone's lips. And I think he brought in so many new fans, and just the whole of England just got behind it, and it was just they needed 2. I think we won by 2 runs, which after like playing 5 days is just crazy how it just came down to that. And that's my pick for number 3.
Yeah, great pick. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. It was, at that point, it was, very rare for a test match to get into that point as well, where you get that call. I think it was on day 4, wasn't it, where one of the outcomes is both the sides can win this at that point. And I think it was a combination of Brett Lee, Shane Warne that just hung around and managed to get the runs to edge the Aussies closer. And it just didn't look like England were going to be able to get that final wicket, but it was, Steve Harmison. I
watched this last night in preparation of this because it was on my list as well, and those old emotions came surging back of what a fucking series that was.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And the fact it was like the first time we won, actually, it led to winning since 87. And like I said, when you look at that Australian team, it's like that. I know McGrath got injured, and obviously that helped quite a lot, but the rest of the team was incredible compared to. They were like the top notch that era, and it was,
and
one of the best.
Iconic imagery as well of Flintoff and Brett Lee at the end of it as well, because Brett Lee, wanker or otherwise, man, he had a hell of an innings there to put Australia to contention, really, because I think a lot of people would have crumbled under that. And he had a hell of a batting performance in that second innings, and Flintoff and Brett Lee at the end of it. I'm not 100% sure what was said. Flintoff came out afterwards and said that he gave him some stick. I'm not too sure he did. I think that might be more Flintoff being Flintoff. I think it was more a touching moment. But just an incredible. And like you say, for what it meant to the country, England winning the first Ashes in forever. And there was an excitement going into that series as well of like, we might finally do it here. It's all building up to it. And then, like you said, that first series or first test of fucking same shit again. If Australia had snuck that 2-0, they're taking the Ashes again. All that excitement and all that, build up for nothing.
If they won that second test, because it would have been a devastating loss for England. That could have been easily 5-0, and same old. So and it's just like you said, just watching it back, I still get the same excitement and the same joy, even though it was nearly 20 years ago. As you still get that feeling, which is I've just broken the that was 20 years ago. That it's just one of them sporting moments which probably will live with me forever, that it's just, no matter when I watch it, I'll still get excited, even though I know what's going to come. It's, it was a great moment.
Yeah, like I said, I literally watched it last night because I was like, wanted to get excited about it, wanted to talk about it here. So, you've took my pick, but delighted to be able to discuss it again because it was wonderful,
Yeah, no, great pick, Joe. Yeah, I remember that was the first test series that's all I proper got into. I always liked cricket, but I felt like that was the first one I proper got into. And it was ace, good shout.
I remember just like a little personal story on this one as well. Like, this is when I worked at Southwick service station, a great job. I used to love working at the service station. Worked in the shop. It was a real DOS of a job, but it was fun. I had great colleagues. We just pissed around all the time. And we had a small TV to watch the cricket on, which we're really not really meant to, weren't meant to have. But my mum would also be texting me. And I just remember once getting a text just Ponting's out, and telling my colleagues we can't have the TV on it that day. And everyone just going nuts in the service station. It was such a, like you say, the mood of the nation was such this is the national sport right now.
Nice. Yeah, it was great. Loved it. Sparked a whole generation into kind of getting into cricket, I think. With some great characters, Peterson, Flintoff at the centre of it. Yeah, great stuff. Right, Joe, round 2.
Yeah, okay. So the next pick, I'm going to go to soccer this time, and it's near and dear to someone's heart. It happened in the glory days of 1999. There was a small town up north in Carlisle, and there was a team struggling. He was looking at the abyss, and someone's already talked about this in the comeback draft. But I think it's a huge moment. A team which, if they get relegated, who knows if they'll survive? Who knows where they would be now? Needing to win to stay up, playing against Plymouth, and it was 1-1, and there was one man who saved them, and his name, Byron, is
Jimmy Glass.
Jimmy Glass himself. He saved that club. He saved Byron's little heart from breaking into all different pieces. He goes up for a corner. I think he only played 3 appearances for the team who was on loan, and he scores that winner. And it's to me, it's such a big moment because, obviously Carlisle doesn't get much press similar to my team, especially down there. But I think everyone knows that moment. It's like, even though everyone knows about the keeper going up last minute, scoring the winner to save them, to relegate Scarborough, where's Scarborough now? And the fact that I did that, and it was just the last minute, the crowd going nuts. He saved the town, like you said. I think, and town like Carlisle, Summonstead Band, stuff like the football, it does mean a lot to the town, and if that goes, it's devastating. So I thought I would be strategic here and pick one to just tug on Byron's heart. So it's the Carlisle last minute winner, Jimmy Glass, for my next pick.
Yeah, I assumed it wouldn't get past Byron again, but I would have taken it.
It might have done. I have a couple that I'm really torn on. I didn't know when Jimmy Glass would go, if anyone else would take it. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Like, I don't want to, push out to an hour here. Great pick, though. I've spoke on this subject before. This was also 25 years ago, 3 weeks ago. It's insane. But yeah, what a moment. You can have your Alisson scoring last minute equaliser or winner for Liverpool, all the rest of it. But man, to save a club like that, and just again, all the visuals of it, just absolutely incredible. If you've never seen the Jeff Stelling YouTube video covering it, it's so fun because it shows the Scarborough fans, not fun for them, but they're dancing on the pitch because Man U fans with Aguero, they think they're safe. They think they've done all they can. They think the time's up. Their time's up. They're already on the pitch celebrating, and then it cuts back to them after Jimmy Glass goal, and they're just on the ground because fuck, we just got relegated. And I kind of love the inflection in Jeff Stelling's voice when he does we're getting news that the goalie has scored. It doesn't happen in football. It's not a normal thing. So yeah, circumstances around it, the moment itself, the fact it's a goalie, just if it was on Dream Team, you'd kind of say that isn't going to happen in football. It's just not realistic. And for it to happen to a club like Carlisle just adds to the beauty of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that man will never need to buy a pint if he visits the town again.
He actually released an autobiography as well, Jimmy Glass, called Andy Cole, A Big Time Shithouse. Is the only thing I remember of it. Obviously, I bought it and read it because it's Jimmy Glass. But yeah, he was a Crystal Palace training goalie as a kid.
Was it a short story? Yeah?
I'm not going to say it was a pamphlet, but it wasn't War and Peace. Yeah, I just remember, I think Palace must have played Man U in some big game when he was a trainee there, and he just referred to Andy Cole as a big time shithouse, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Andy Cole has kind of got that energy about him, but that's about the only thing I remember about that book. Anyway, great pick, Joe.
Yeah, great pick. Yeah, well done, Joe. Playing to the crowd. Yeah, panda picks. Yeah,
no, it works. But to be fair, his first 2 picks really pandered to me as how you win. Yeah, no last. It's going to be a hell of a last minute win if Paul pulls this off.
Yeah, it's how you win. Yeah, right, Byron, to you, your second round pick.
I didn't want to go back to back footy, but I'm going to make my second football pick, and I'm only going to do 2 football picks.
Come on.
I think this would have been the first rounder. I was really torn between taking this and Aguero. It's all up for grabs now. Arsenal, 1989 season, win the first division as it was then, go to Anfield. The last day of the season, due to the Hillsborough disaster, the end of the league season got pushed back 6 days. Liverpool had won the FA Cup on the Saturday prior. all Liverpool need to do is not lose by 2 goals at home. They haven't done so in 3 years. Arsenal haven't won at Anfield in 15 years. Last minute, it's 1-0 Arsenal. Liverpool holding out. You've got the famous imagery of Steve McMahon, one more minute. And this is in the era of the no pass back rule. Yeah, they could just keep kicking the ball back to Grobbelaar if they so choose. There was a moment with like 2 minutes to go where I think it is Steve McMahon and takes a player on in midfield and hoofs the ball back to Bruce Grobbelaar to just hold on to the ball. And despite this, the ball gets back up Arsenal's box, gets put in upfield. Alan Smith wins a header. Michael Thomas takes a little knock, ricochets back to him, through on goal. And again, iconic commentary really adds to the moment of, Thomas in on goal. It's all up for grabs now. Slots it past Grobbelaar. Arsenal win the title at Anfield. Only way they could do it was win by 2 clear goals, and they did it. I kind of struggle in this and Aguero because they went and beat the team they had to beat to win the title on their ground. They had to do it by 2 goals in the last minute. I just think it's again, I didn't really want to take 2 football ones back to back. I was thinking Joe would take this in the 3 or the 4. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Aguero, Michael Thomas are all like kind of equal in terms of significance and moment. But yeah, Joe threw me a wrench with Jimmy Glass in the Ashes there. So I am going back-to-back football, which I didn't really want to do, but I think it's such a moment. And it's kind of like the last big moment of the pre-Premier League, the pre-back pass rule being a thing in football as well. Where I don't really know how teams used to lose once it went a goal up. I don't know how Liverpool lost a 2-goal lead or, lost 2 goals in a situation like that where you can just keep kicking it back to your goalie. Football isn't what it is now in terms of entertainment or in terms of skill level. So yeah, that's my pick anyway. I just think it's an incredible way to win a title. Almost like a playoff grand final, but literally just built into the league season.
Yeah, just a quirk of what happened and the way that ended up being the case. So yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, again, it's probably the end of 1989 to the year. So Joe wouldn't have been born yet, and I was just born.
I was 4.
Yeah, so you're alive for it at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to. I'm happy for you to think I'm younger, but yeah, I was certainly alive for it. I don't recall it in real time though.
Yeah, that picks from memory for you, isn't it? You lived it at the moment, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, like I say, to win, to win because we don't get that anymore, do we? There's not a situation now where the way they made the schedule where you'd have an Arsenal v Liverpool, or you'd never have got Arsenal v City to be the 38th game this year with it falling like that, where they could both still win it, for example. Yeah, you tend to get soft schedules for the last games of the season, don't you? Yeah, the way it works out. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, and yeah, incredible Arsenal team as well. To be fair,
yeah,
incredible Liverpool team as they were so dominant for so long. Yeah,
and Liverpool actually, the next year they won the title again. And then they didn't win another one until Jurgen Klopp. It was kind of the end of that Liverpool team.
Yeah.
Glory days.
The glory days.
Get them off that fucking perch.
Took a while, but we got there. City chasing us now. Yeah, nothing to add more, nothing more to add. Joe, anything else to add to Michael Thomas's last field?
Funnily enough, it wasn't on my list. It just it never popped up when I was thinking about ones. There was another football one which is not as important, but again, I think it's because when it was and when I grew up, I'll probably not pick it, but probably on your mentions. But that's the one I thought you might start talking about. But it's a great pick. Yeah, I didn't think about that, and it's makes sense. But like I said, it was before I was born. So yeah.
I will just give a quick shout out to another podcast here as well, which put it more in my head of a big event. There's a new soccer podcast. It Was What It Was with Jonathan Wilson. Which I love Jonathan Wilson, one of my favorite football writers. But they're doing talking about football events from history, essentially. So the first episode was Tara Fergie. So kind of talking through Fergie's reign up until he was safe at Man United, essentially. And I haven't finished listening to the first episode, never mind the second, but it's 2-parters, Arsenal 89, the game that changed football forever. So that's kind of put it in my mind. I've only just started listening to it this week, so I haven't even finished the first episode of that 2-parter. But just listening to them talk about the impact of it all. Did maybe pump it on the board a little, truthfully. But it's a real good podcast. I would recommend checking it out if you're interested in football history.
Nice.
It Was What It Was.
Good stuff. I've got a couple now. Yeah, I didn't think this one was going to get back to me, so I will take it. Joe, you took an England v Australia pick earlier on. I'm also going to take an England v Australia pick, and it's the 2003 Rugby Union World Cup final. England versus Australia in Sydney. Johnny Wilkinson dropped goal in extra time to win England the Webb Ellis Trophy. Just a great sporting moment. I think there's 28 seconds left in extra time, so almost the last kick of the game. And just a great moment again. So this is very similar where this England rugby team over the 2 or 3 years previously. Again, I'm not really a rugby union fan at all, but I remember at this time I did watch a fair bit of it. And Clive Woodward has kind of turned around English rugby. Gradually this team had got better and better and better, and going into that World Cup with serious chance of winning it, to go and take on Australia, to go and take on New Zealand and others, and beat them, and they did. Great one to the final. The final was very, like a lot of finals, very tense, but it was high class, and it got to extra time, 17-17. Australia scored a penalty pretty much right at the end to take it to extra time. Johnny Wilkinson, you still can see that image of Matt Dawson and Johnny Wilkinson going crazy, just shouting World Cup, World Cup, World Cup after he kicked the drop goal. And again, that probably took on a generation of people at that point that maybe weren't necessarily into rugby, and got a whole the whole group and generation involved in interested in rugby union. And a great sporting moment, full stop, and a great one for a last minute winner, and to win a World Cup as well.
Yeah, really iconic one. Again, I think I'm like you. I'm not really into rugby really, but I certainly watched the World Cups then, and certainly watched that one. And it was really early Saturday morning, if I recall rightly. I think I was watching it in bed, and just again, like, it just has that iconic imagery of Dawson just steals that like 8, 10, 15 yards. I can't remember the exact of it now, where he just kind of scampers through, and you're like, oh, it's game here, because like all you need to do is throw it back to Wilkinson, and Wilkinson was perfect in that World Cup. I don't know if he literally didn't miss a kick, but he just felt like anytime there's a clutch moment, he's the man you want there. And perfect timing, perfect ending. I also like, again, like kind of the visual and the imagery of it. Rugby ends when the ball needs to go back out of touch, and I think I might be wrong on the player's name here, but I think it went back to Jeremy Guscott, and he just hoofed it right out of bounds, and like it was just kind of like that perfect thing of like, it's over. Like, you're not waiting on a referee's whistle at this point. Like, the time's up. You just need to get that ball out of bounds, and he just like immediately hoofed straight back out, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah, great pick. He was definitely on my list. I was seeing if he would come back round, and I was going to go all England, Australia for a few picks. But no, again, it's one of my iconic moments, especially obviously all of us coming from England, and because we don't win actually that much, it actually feels like it means a lot when we actually beat the best teams. And when it is in their patch of the woods, we've always got that rivalry with Australia. We always have that moment. We haven't really won much else since, so it's something feels special. And I remember I would have been 11 or 12 when that was, but I remember staying up, or if it was in the morning, I can't remember which way around it was, but I remember like
Saturday morning,
watching it. And again, it was where everyone watched it. It felt like that kind of sporting, spectacle. And what else would you want then? And last minute winner, there's nothing better really. So it's it's usually with England, it's us who always has that heartbreaking defeat and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually nice when it's the other way around. So certainly do enjoy that pick.
Yeah, cool, good stuff. It's my double pick. I'm torn between two. I do feel we should get the sport that we talk about all of the time involved. I've got plenty of those, but I've got others ahead of them. So what do I take? I've got a sporting icon. You could argue both of them are sporting icons. I'm going to take... I'm going to stick patriotic, oddly. Why not? Let's take another... let's take one for another great British sportsman. I'm going to take Lewis Hamilton winning his first Formula One World Championship. Formula One season now just tends to be pretty boring, where one person wins 15 races out of the 20 and they've won the championship by God knows however. But in Lewis Hamilton's first couple of years, they were very exciting because they went down to the very, very end. Lewis Hamilton missed out in his first season in 2007, I think by a single point. So I think what's the Finnish fellow called? Kimi Räikkönen. And the 2008 World Championship was going right down to the wire as well. My moment is the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix. All Lewis Hamilton had to do was finish 5th. So if that's someone who's going to win the championship, you'd fully expect that to be the case. But the race was absolute chaos. Lewis Hamilton's rival for the championship, Felipe Massa, Brazilian, and in I think it's home city as well in Sao Paulo, won the race. Felt he'd won the championship, but within 45 seconds, his hopes and dreams were dashed as Lewis Hamilton managed to take over a car that was slowing down and about to stop because it was breaking down, to go from 6th to 5th on the penultimate corner to get 5th and secure the points he needed to win his first of what is now 7 Formula One World Championships. But a great moment. Sad for obviously Massa, but the Ferrari garage was celebrating and going crazy. And then within seconds, it was just stripped from them in cruel fashion as Hamilton managed to get past this car that was going what looked like 20 miles an hour on the track. Great sporting moment. It just happened just like that. Thoughts? Bit of a left field one for Formula One, but it was a good finish.
Yeah, I'm not a big F1 guy, but I do remember this really well. And I think you kind of touched on one of the things that I think is an ultimate last-minute winner, buzzer beater. The other team was celebrating. Like, you know, kind of touched on Man United fans at Sunderland, Scarborough fans, Jimmy Glass, etc. If the other team is celebrating and you manage to overcome that, like that is, to me, kind of the definition of a last-minute winner out of nowhere. I still remember Hamilton making that pass on that turn and just being like, oh my God, he's actually going to do it. Like, this is insane. This wasn't Hamilton's debut season in F1. He didn't win it in his first season, did he?
No, he went very close.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm not a big F1 guy, but I remember it was really early in his career. Yeah, this wasn't on my list because, again, I just didn't think of it. But listening to you talk about it, I do remember the emotion of it and just how kind of not surreal, but like how incredible it was just that last 20 seconds of the race.
They missed the moment. If I remember it rightly, I think I read a little bit about it again early today, just in preparation. But I remember they missed the camera, the race director, whoever's doing the directing, you know, cutting the cameras, missed the moment live, and it's on the British commentary. I can't remember. It's the same guy that always does it. It's old Formula One driver, and I cannot remember his name. Guy who does the pit walks and goes to speak to everyone. I cannot remember his name. Anyway, it's him, and he's like, "Oh, hang on, he's passed him." Like, wait, Hamilton's gone past him. The guy, he's gone. He's in 5th. He's going to win it, and then he's won it. Like they missed the moment live somehow, and have to show it on replay. Of this, you know, Hamilton just obviously going past this crawling car that was just crawling its way in on the last lap, just trying to get home. I think the guy is called Timo Glock, if I remember rightly. Crazy, and I'm not a big Formula One guy. I don't know. I think I probably only watched that race because he had a chance of winning it. Don't think I watched it probably 10 years, 12 years before and I watched it. So I'm not a big fan, but just a great moment in terms of, like, again, exciting ending. Drama meant something in terms of deciding the season-long World Championship. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good value. I think it's 6th, 7th, 6th. Can I not count?
7th.
I put 6th twice on here. I know 7th, yeah.
Yeah, it was on my list too. I was hoping he'd come back round. I think what helps it as well is that because he only had to finish 5th, so you were like going into it thinking, oh, he's got this, it's fine. He's been doing well all year. He should get top 5th, and then you think he's lost it to then get it back again. And I think that builds it up as well because you feel like he wasted his chance. He massive moment, he balled it, and then he just managed to sneak it as well and just come 5th. Yeah, great moment. It was a good. I remember watching it as well because, like you said, there was many like British drivers I could remember around that point as well. I think probably Coulthard was the one before. So I think it was like
Jenson Button, surely.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, I forgot about Jenson Button. But did Jenson Button win it before then, or was it after?
Before, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? Okay, fair enough. I just remember it being a big story, but it might be because he was like a youngster and whatnot. So but no, yeah, it was certainly on my list.
Excellent. Right, Byron, to your 3rd round pick.
I am going with another football one. Not really. Michael Jordan, The Shot. An iconic moment in American sport history, obviously in basketball history. It's a Eastern Conference first round series, Bulls Cavaliers. Chicago this is 1989 season. They haven't won any titles yet. They don't go on to win the title this year, but I think this is where it gives her the impression of who Michael Jordan is, how important he is, how clutch he is. This was the first, and I believe it's still the only buzzer beater that if it hadn't gone in, the team would have lost. It's quite often it's a tie game and it goes in. I'm pretty sure that's still the case anyway. I was doing some research last night and I couldn't find one since that had undone it. So yeah, Cavaliers were up by 1. Jordan scores a 2 as the buzzer ends to win the game. Just again, a lot of it to me is like the iconic imagery behind it. Everyone knows the image of Michael Jordan getting that inbound, just one little move, sinks it with no time remaining, becomes an iconic image in Michael Jordan's career, and then from the next year on, they become the dominant team in NBA.
Yes, it's just interesting because I was torn between taking Lewis Hamilton with the last pick and another Michael Jordan one. It's interesting, but this one's great. To be fair, this one is great. And probably the more famous one, mine. I assume it's not going to get taken because if you've just drafted a Michael Jordan shot, surely me and Joe are not going to draft a Michael Jordan shot.
Are you talking college one?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. The Utah Jazz won to win the 98 finals, yeah. And there was about 3 seconds left, so I think it counts. There's the same basketball, and it's so many seconds. It's not literally as the buzzer beats, but yeah. That one against the Utah Jazz was going to be the one that I took to win the 98 championship. But this is great. This is a great one, and just it's absolutely incredible. And the start of so many, there's probably a dozen you could have picked for Michael Jordan, but this is certainly probably the most famous one.
Yeah, that's why I went with it again. Like, it has its own wiki page, The Shot. To have a play called The Shot as well is just like, again, it's super iconic, and that's kind of what I'm looking for with these last-minute winners is like, it goes down in history. I think all 3 of my picks so far have got their own wiki page, which certainly helps, in my opinion, like putting them as like notable moments. I don't know if Jimmy Glass does. I mean, they might all the
probably is one for Jimmy Glass.
All 8 picks probably have their own one. To be fair, it's not the hardest thing to do, but it was kind of important for me that like, they do have them because it is it just marks their notoriety essentially.
Excellent, cool, yeah, great pick. Any thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have it on my list. I certainly read about it, and it was there and thereabouts. I've got another basketball one, which I'm deciding if I'm going to pick soon. I don't think it's as iconic, but again, it's. I was trying to pick things with how it made me feel, and obviously I can't remember that Jordan one again play because I wasn't born, and yeah, it's one of them things where looking back, but no, good pick. It's certainly iconic.
Cool, Joe, over to you.
So I'll take the bullet and I'll take an NFL one. And I'm going to go for the Minneapolis Miracle in the playoffs, the Saints versus Vikings. Again, this is when for me, is when I think it was 3 years before when I really got into NFL. I remember staying up and watching this game, and it was a back and forth game when the Saints, they were losing 17-0 after the first half, and they managed to establish a 24-23 lead with 25 seconds left. At that point, I remember going to bed and being like, this game's over. And just like, I had it on my phone to start watching it there. I was like, I'll just see what happens. And then everything like blew up basically. So I had to like run back in to rewind it to see what happened. But it's just the whole thing where, one, Case Keenum's the quarterback. It's always it's always crazy. Like it was Case Keenum who did this. But yeah, with 25 seconds to go on the last play, it throws it to Stephon Diggs, and everyone's just thinking, catch, get out of bounds. And even if it does that, it's probably not enough time to get that field goal. But the whole Marcus Williams completely misses it, and it's just the imagery of Diggs it looked like he was in complete shock when he got it, and he would just like turn around, and it was just open field. And it was just I know there's a few of NFL's ones, but that felt like one way it was like, there's just no way they're going to come back. And it's always like, now watching NFL, it's like, if that could happen, anything can happen. And it, most of the time never happens. But the fact that, missed it, ran in, obviously, the walk-off score, obviously taking the helmet, going crazy. It's a bit harsh. I know they've changed the rules now, but they still had to kick the field goal. And I'm glad they've done that because it was a bit harsh. The Saints player to be like, we've got a lineup to, see them just score an extra point just for no reason. Why? So I'm glad the NFL started that now. But for me, that's the iconic last second. You think it's over, and then somehow they get through. And it's in the playoffs as well. And I think that made it massive, that it was a big playoff game and it was a standalone game, which everyone was watching.
Wow, this was on my list. It's what I don't know if I could separate it. It's certainly one of my top NFL ones as well. So I've got a few of them on the list. Given the situation of the game, there's 10 seconds on the clock at the start of that play. So realistically, you can get out of bounds and kick a field goal to win. And that surely was the plan. Case Keenum sails that ball on Stephon Diggs. It is a terrible throw for the situation. Yeah. Diggs had to go climb a ladder to go get that. And that's what led to inexcusable that the Saints player doesn't tackle him, just wrap him up, keep him in bounds, game over.
And he's such a good player, Marcus Williams, as well. He's obviously still in the league and he's still playing high quality. He was, I think he was a rookie that year as well, which certainly probably didn't help.
Just crazy that, and Diggs must have been just preparing to get nailed as well, just like fully expect when a wide receiver or any receiver has to go up like that and you're vulnerable to just getting smashed. Yeah, crazy. And just for him to just kind of get his feet down, you almost seem like a second going, like almost have a bit of a look to go like, oh shit, and then just kind of running. But yeah, it's a great one, and it's a shame they got absolutely mullered by the Eagles the week after in the NFC Championship game.
I feel like it's hard to raise a level once that happened. But I think, was it Greg Joseph still the kicker at Vikings? Because he missed that absolute sitter against Seahawks. So if I was the Vikings, even if they got the, catch and went out of bounds, it's the Vikings. The Vikings lose them kind of games all the time. So I think the fact, like you said, he turned around, he was like, oh, there's no one here. It was just, incredible.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good for it to be the first NFL one off. I think it's a good one. So yeah, it's a good pick, Joe. Cool. Anything else to add, anyone, Byron? Anything to add to the Minneapolis Miracle?
No, I think that's a really good one.
And we saw the sequel, Minneapolis Miracle 2, just a couple of seasons ago with a comeback. I don't know, was that taken in the comebacks draft? I can't remember.
I think he got mentioned. I think yeah.
Cool. Good shout, Joe. Right, Joe, you start off the fourth round for us with your final pick.
Yeah. I've got two. There's one which is historical, but it's back in the day, and I don't know much about it, and I've just got the research. Oh, there's one I do remember, and he said, I'll go for the one I remember. I'll just keep going, and I'm guessing you know what the game is. I don't know how it's significant. Obviously, moving to Canada, it's a very significant moment, but it's the Kyrie Leonard's buzzer-beating bucket to beat the 76ers. And it's the iconic picture where he runs, he gets the ball with 3 seconds left, runs around the court in the side corner, and it actually it bounces 4 times off the rim before it goes in. It's the iconic, because I think the buzzer just went as he released it, and he's there just crouched down with everyone, and it just goes nuts. And I think it's huge for, the Toronto Raptors. It was I think it was a massive moment. They went on to win their first title that year, and it just, I remember it just being huge, huge at that point. And it's researched about it was really strange looking back at the what happened previously, because the last time they won the playoffs in 2001, and it was Vince Carter against the 76ers, and he missed a last-second buzzer beater to get knocked out, and they didn't win a playoff game for the next, I think it was 14 or 15 years, to actually win a series in the playoffs. So this was this is a team which doesn't have, huge history, and for that to happen, and I think just the bouncing, it was like something out of a movie. So I'm choosing that as my fourth pick.
Yeah, I've got a couple of other basketball ones, and it wasn't on mine, but I do remember it, and the play edge. If you watch it, it's almost as if time stands still, where he somehow gets the shot out from the corner, and it bounce,
and then double bounce. Bounces 4 times, which is just and it's just like you said, because I think he literally threw with 0.2 seconds to go, so it's everyone was just waiting to see what happens, and it was just the explosion. And I think they was in Toronto as well, and the iconic image of him crouching down with all his teammates while he's waiting for it to drop. It's highly memorable.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, cool, excellent, Good stuff. Byron, your last one? Oh, anything to add on Kawhi before we move on?
No, nothing to add. Again, I'm not a huge basketball. I do remember this one, though. I remember Kawhi Leonard went from being like, not a huge name, I don't think. Again, I'm not a huge basketball fan, to being like, oh my God, this guy is like one of the icons in the sport, it felt like, for a hot minute.
I think he was like underrated as like, he was one of the best players, but he was, because his personality is very chill and he's like under the radar. So when he was at San Antonio, I think everyone knew he was one of the best players, but then he went off to like be his own man and did that iconic moment.
Pretty sure he won an NBA championship at San Antonio as well, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He won it once, twice there.
I think doing it in Canada is like real cool as well. Like, not exactly a place known for its basketball. I don't know if the Raptors have won other titles in recent history, but like it felt like Canada really embraced it. It feels like maybe more of a Canadian personality than an American one, maybe, like you're saying. He's more chilled out and un-American, maybe. Not un-American, but like not traditionally American and braggadocious, etc. Yeah, my last pick. I'm not going NFL. I struggled to pick NFL ones, truthfully, because the two I was kind of torn on, I'm not going to name them by name, but like they were more stopping a win than being a winner. And I wasn't quite sure how that would play in a draft because it wasn't scoring a point, it was stopping someone scoring a point. So I wanted to leave those out and maybe just discuss them as honorable mentions. But I'm going to go with boxing. Carl Froch versus Jermaine Taylor in 2009. So Jermaine Taylor had been previous undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Carl Froch was newly crowned champion. Jermaine Taylor was very disrespectful throughout the build-up. Outboxed Froch throughout the entire fight, truthfully. Got into 12th round. Froch's corner was like, you need to knock him out. Like, you're not winning this on points. So Froch went and did just that. Knocked him down. And then with what, 20 seconds, 15 seconds remaining, Froch just absolutely unloaded like 20 punches in like 20 seconds. Just absolutely knocked the fuck out of him. Ref had to stop the fight. Froch went from losing his title basically immediately to putting Jermaine Taylor on his absolute arse. And yeah, one of the best nights in boxing, maybe, for Carl Froch. I know he had his moments at Wembley with George Groves, etc. Sold out Wembley, that's what I heard. But
8,000 there, don't you know?
Yeah, doing this in America, again, Jermaine Taylor, one of the greats of his time. It was just absolutely incredible. And I think, last minute winners in football, in basketball, in American football, cricket, etc., like all have their beauty to them. Just a last minute knockout when you've been beaten up the entire fight is just like, it's incredibly brutal, but it's incredibly like definitive. Like if that fight had finished 90 seconds earlier, Carl Froch loses, but he puts it all on the line. He just goes out swinging, literally. And yeah, Jermaine Taylor can't keep up with it, can't defend himself. And yeah, Froch is still unbeaten at the end of it. So like, it's my final pick.
Yeah, it's a great one. Like, that I think if you look at it from where Froch, everything that came from managing to find a way to win that fight, he ended up being able to take part in that World Boxing Super 6 as a result, which then got him huge fights. And he got beat by Kessler, but he ended up avenging that. But he got to fight Kessler, Abraham, Ward, just all these great fights that he probably wouldn't have been able to take, to be involved in. And we'd never have got, 80,000. I was one of those 80,000 people at Wembley for Froch Groves too. And that's what he finished on. But that's found a way to do it. And just propelled him to being someone who was relatively unknown in the UK, unless you're a real big boxing fan, and end up becoming kind of a household name. Good shout, Carl Froch. I think we'd get Carl Froch mention on. Good team cover.
I was looking for boxing as well, because I was like, is there like an iconic one where it's a knockout in 12 rounds? And he was trying to, every time I was typing in, it was just giving me all the stuff of like, oh, this boxer knocked him out in second. And I was like, oh, I'm giving up. So the fact that you managed to pull that out. Yes, I was like, knockout like in the last round, and it was like, kept going like Anthony Joshua and knocked him out in the second round. I was like, I don't care about that one, no 12th round. But so
that ended up being the last round of the fight.
Well, yeah.
I do have a honorable mention for boxing as well, but it was more of a not really laughable. I mean, I mentioned it on our honorable mentions, I guess, but I don't think Paul's going to take it.
It's fine. I'm not going to take a boxing one, so go for it. You're right.
It was Audley Harrison. I forget the guy who's fighting.
Shit. Danny Williams.
Yeah, he just got like outboxed the entire fight. No, it was against Michael Sprott, I think.
Michael Sprott might have been.
Danny Williams, I think he beat with one arm.
Oh, yes, that was that, yeah.
But Sprott just like absolutely smashed him the entire fight, basically. And it was the same thing again where like you just need to go and knock him out. And Harrison just absolutely smashed him with like seconds remaining. But he didn't have the same cachet as Froch in not in New York, I think it was in Connecticut. Froch in America anyway. Like it wasn't Audley Harrison never got to that level. Yeah.
Well,
just not quite.
That managed to get him a fight against David Hay for a world championship where he didn't throw a punch. David Hay just beat him up for 3 rounds.
One of the most pathetic showings, period. Yeah, fraudly.
Yeah, for Audley Harrison. Yeah. Yeah.
That last minute one was real, like, I don't want to say iconic, but it was like exactly why I kind of love boxing, because like you're never out of it.
Yeah. He's just all it takes is one punch for sure. Right, I'm told me what to go for. I've got loads left. I feel like I should take an American football one. There's loads of NFL ones, but I'm going to take a college one. And as soon as I mention it, you'll hopefully know it and remember it. It's the 2013 Iron Bowl, Auburn against Alabama. Alabama are up in the game. Auburn has managed to tie the game 28-28 with about 30 seconds to go. Bama go up. Bama drive the ball back, have a shot at a very long field goal for college, 57 yards. Not long in the NFL now. 10 plus years ago in college, nobody's trying 57-yard field goals. But Bama, to try and win the game before it goes into overtime, tries a 57-yard field goal. That field goal drops short, and Auburn's Chris Davis returns the ball 109 yards, so from 9 yards deep in his own end zone with no time on the clock. Returns the field goal attempt to Bama's end zone for the walk-off touchdown to give Auburn a very rare win over Alabama in the Iron Bowl. But yeah, 109-yard return with no time on the clock for a missed field goal. Just the scenes. It was in Auburn as well, so just instantly the flood of people on the field. Just, incredible as walk-offs go. I mean, he couldn't have walked it any further. 109 yards from his own end zone. So that was my American football one. I think it's a good one. Auburn-Alabama is a very one-sided rivalry, but it's a game that gets played every season, relatively close to each other in the state of Alabama. So it's their, seen as the biggest game. But yeah, what an ending.
Yeah, it's a good one. I didn't have a college football one. I was interested where you were going with that one because I didn't have it in my mind, but that is a real good one. Like you say, can't have a longer walk off than that.
And you thought, Joe, is it one you'd heard of before? Or?
No, it's not what I've heard of. It's, college football is a grey area, especially in the past anyway. But, how you described it, anytime there's a punt return or a kickoff return or failed field goal, it's always exciting. It's always fun, and another rivalry is massive as well. Like I said, it being a bowl game, it's sounds a good last pick.
Yeah, honourable mentions. There's loads here, and we've probably done the NFL a disservice here. There's loads of great ones from the NFL that we probably should have taken. Well, what's on your honourable mentions list first? What was on your list that we didn't take before we wrap up?
So my two defensive ones that I kind of touched on was I forget the player's name now because I didn't go with them. The Rams-Titans touchdown that didn't happen, where he just stopped 1 yard short is kind of the name of the play, and Malcolm Butler. But it's really tough because they didn't.
Yeah.
If you don't turn the score over, did you have a winner? Like that'd be more like a last minute save, from a goalie. Yeah. So I didn't include them, but I think they do kind of belong in honorable mentions as like they did win the Super Bowl because of it.
Yeah.
So I struggled placing them in there. The
two mentioned the Rams Titans one. Well, I had the Music City Miracle. The lateral punt return, lateral kickoff return that won the Titans one of those games that ended up getting to the Super Bowl that year. It was against the Bills. Bills always get terrible luck in the playoffs, don't they? The Bills 16-15, and from the kickoff return, hiked it to the other side of the field and ran in the touchdown to win the game.
Laterally. And again, when you started saying college football there, I thought you might be going with the 2006 Rose Bowl. Vince Young's last second TD. Again, kind of like pure electric college football. That was the only one I thought of for college football, but that one's a really good one. And,
I didn't say that one because they needed to score the 2-point conversion as well.
Yeah. And the other football one I had in my mind, again, it's just kind of like the lack of stakes was kind of the issue, was the Miracle at the Meadowlands 2. Deshaun Jackson, the kind of fumbled punt, picks it up, runs back through, taunts the Giants going along the line. Just, again, imagery, trolling, last second. Tom Coughlin, I think, murdered the kicker, maybe.
I watched this earlier on because it was on my list because it was just one that I remembered. But at the end, it was a rather meaningless regular season game.
Exactly,
but LSU's games, I guess. But yeah, he just Coughlin just storms over to the punter going, "What? I told you not to kick it to. I told you not to kick it to him. What did I tell you? It's so funny."
Yeah. So again, like if that was like a playoff game, that would probably be making my list because it's such a great play. But it wasn't, so it didn't. I didn't have any other football ones listed, just because there's so many of them. Spain, Holland kind of comes to mind. Just extra time ones are kind of tougher, I think. And golden goal ones I wanted to rule out entirely, like France, Italy in Euro 2000. I kind of thought like feels a bit cheap taking a golden goal because by definition that is a last minute thing. Like I don't like that rule being in there. But I had the USA swimming 4x100 relay in Beijing 2008 against France. Which I don't know if Joe's laughing because he also had that in mind or because it seems a bit random. I would recommend watching this on YouTube if you're not familiar with it. But yeah, it looked like France had this sewn up, and USA, it's got to be one of the best laps you've ever seen in swimming. Like I don't know how the guy catches him up and then they win it with like 0.02 seconds. It's an incredible comeback again. So I didn't put it in as a last minute winner, but it kind of felt like it because it is a relay where like it goes on longer than like just a 100-meter sprint. It's kind of like you couldn't say Usain Bolt as the last minute winner, but that one kind of felt like it did. I think that's my entire honourable mentions. Truthfully, I'm just trying to see my list here.
Joe Albarn's looking at his list. Any more from you?
Yeah, I had a few soccer ones. So the one I thought you were going to mention was the Beckham one against Greece in the qualifier.
Yeah.
Just because, again, I remember how big that was and everyone's going crazy because we had to get that draw. But again, it did feel like, obviously it was important to get to the Euros, but, it wasn't like we won anything. But I remember that being massive. And I had the Gerrard one against Olympiacos as well in the Champions League, the last minute to make it 3-3, I think, to qualify after they obviously won the Champions League. So I had that one. I had another one. It was the Watford Leicester, the Championship playoffs, where they get such a dodgy penalty. Leicester, I think he was knockout. It was no penalty, and he misses, and then Watford go up and score. I think Troy Deeney scores a last minute win, and it was just a whole, from giving the penalty to going down, it was just like a last minute of like craziness and just I thought that was awesome. And the one I mentioned about the historical one was a baseball one. I don't know if you heard about the 1960s World Series. It's the only time. So he's the first batter to hit the winning runs to win the World Series in the Game 7 in the 9th innings. So I think it was a Pittsburgh Pirates against the Yankees. And there's a whole thing there where I think what was crazy what I read is that out the 7 games, I think it was 7. Yeah, Yankees scored 55 runs and the Pirates only scored 27, but the Pirates still won because they every game they won, they just won, and the Yankees would absolutely blow them out the water the other game. So I think there was only one other person who's hit a home run to win a World Series, but that was in Game 6. So this was the Game 7. So there was that one as well. I had on there. Honorable mentions.
Bill Mazeroski, walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Pirates won 10-9 in Game 7 of the World Series. Yeah.
And,
it's a couple on my side. Another baseball one. It was the Red Sox-Yankees one, the 2004 American League Conference game. So I think that was mentioned in the comebacks where the Red Sox were 3-0 down in the best-of-7 series and 4-3 down in the bottom of the 9th. David Ortiz obviously they had been 3-0 down, got it to 3-3. It was 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth, on the verge of being eliminated. David Ortiz hits the winning home run to win them the game, and they then go on to win the World Series to finally break the curse of the Bambino. So there's that one. I mentioned the Jordan one from before. The Immaculate Reception, Steelers, Raiders, 72 playoffs. The catch, I would certain that Joe was going to take the catch. Joe Montana's coming out party, against the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game in 81. Took the Niners to their first Super Bowl. I was going to take it as my fourth one, just as a bit of a troll. Raiders Patriots, the Chandler Jones recovered fumble lateral, which was
also the Miami one against Patriots as well.
Yeah. There's that one. You mentioned Saul Jackson. I was gonna add Oliver Bierhoff, Euro '96 golden goal on my list. It was Oliver Bierhoff on against Czech Republic. I think it was just the first one as well, wasn't it? It was the first
in a major tournament. I think the first in English football was actually Carlisle, not scoring. Played Birmingham in the auto windscreens in 1995. Lost 1-0 to a team in the division above. Birmingham are a big team, but it was kind of heartbreaking as a 10-year-old Johnny B.
Yeah, tough. So we had Sidney Crosby scoring the overtime winner for USA at the Winter Olympics v Canada. Reggie Miller, 8 points in 9 seconds. I think that might have been our greatest comebacks for the Pacers against the Knicks in the NBA playoffs. Yeah, to somehow come back from 6 points. 8 points in 8.9 seconds, and he scored them all. A three off a steal, a rebound that he got fouled on, and then scored the free throws to win the game. Super Bowl 51, Patriots, James White after the comeback. Again, that was another comeback one. That was the touchdown to win the game. What else have we got? Bills Chiefs 2021 divisional round, that epic game. That had 25 points in the last 2 minutes. The Chiefs took it to overtime with a field goal at the last, within 13 seconds, and then Kelsey got the touchdown pass on the first drive of overtime. 42-36. It was just a classic. Aaron Rodgers, Miracle in Motown, Hail Mary, Rodgers to Rodgers. And he did it again in the playoffs, but they didn't win that. They didn't win that game.
Yeah,
in Arizona, just a matter of weeks later. Tebow was my other one.
Against Steelers.
Tebow time against the Steelers, first play of overtime. Demaryius Thomas, who's sadly no longer with us, on the first play of overtime, 80-yard touchdown pass. And then I had Bama, Georgia, Tua to Devonta Smith to win Bama the national championship in overtime against Georgia.
Yeah, now just for Rocky Balboa versus Apollo. Just the last second managed to just get up to win the heavyweight title, which no one thought he would win. So, that's definition of, I think it was round 15 as well, last second winner to get up and stumble to victory.
I'm very surprised you didn't take Toon Squad against Monstars.
I had that on my list as well with his outstretched arm, but there was quite a lot of basketball. So, yeah. That might be on ESPN as well, so we might count that.
One more Joey Chestnut slander. Right. As always, let's vote for our winner. It'd be nice if we ended in a 3-way tie, but I don't think it's going to happen, is it? Ready? If you pop your winner in the chat, 3, 2, 1.
Was it Frosh Taylor that did it? Was it a last-minute winner?
It was, yeah. It was quite good, that. Byron, you won 2 votes to 1. You 2 votes and Joe with the other. Scandalous, really. But yes, congratulations, Byron. You won with your selections of Aguero scoring last-minute winner for City. You have to help me out with the rest.
Oliver Grabs, Michael Thomas, the shot Michael Jordan, and Frosh Taylor.
Yeah, congratulations. But, if you don't agree with that, go head over to our Instagram, Twitter. There'll be a poll up at some point. I'm sure there's going to be a graphic of all this. Don't really know how, but we'll get it somehow. I don't know who's doing that. Bagsy, not me.
I quite enjoyed doing the graphic for the last draft. I might just use that format again.
Yeah, excellent. Go for it. You can absolutely go for that. I don't know how you're going to encapsulate some of this stuff in one picture, but yeah. Excellent. That's it from us. Anything else to add, gents, before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if our Kenyan fan is still listening and checking in, We're struggled to get a guest for our draft this week. So, I mean, if you want to guest, please reach out to me or Paul on Twitter or the Instagram account. We're pretty open to people coming on. So, especially if you are Kenyan or where else have we got fans from? Jordan?
I've got the list, right? I'll just find out in 2 seconds. It's got some fun countries. It's got the Isle of Man on, which, Joe, I'm assuming is somehow related to your side of things.
No, I don't think anyone else lives on there. So.
Oh, not anymore. No, okay.
Not anymore. No.
Then I don't know.
I didn't know you had family from the Isle of Man, Joe. I was very confused why you were getting blamed for that. I was like, does he think
I was getting blamed for it?
Yeah, it's not me. It's Meg. She used to live at Isle of Man. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, I was really thinking Paul maybe just thinks it's in Canada.
Yeah. Not quite, or close to Barnsley. I don't know. No.
But yeah, I mean, you could be the top Kenyan NFL podcaster just by coming on this podcast, I think.
You
so
could.
If you're still out there, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we've got obviously UK, of course. United States, which I'm just assuming is when you've played the podcast before, Byron. Canada, which is when assuming Joe's played it at some point. Jordan, Germany, Kenya, Qatar, and the Isle of Man. What a list of countries that is.
Hell of a list.
I don't think we're in several. I think we're in 9 or 10 different states it's been played in, so it's not just Illinois. So yeah,
I don't travel, so that isn't me.
Yeah,
might be on a VPN.
It could be easy just your VPN. Yeah, that's a good.
Could be.
I didn't really think of that.
Yeah, if I go on the balcony, I like to pretend I'm in New York or California if it's a sunny day.
Or Kenya
sometimes.
Or Nairobi, yeah. Get in touch, if you are listening and you want to get involved, certainly for these drafts as well. We're going to do more. I think we should probably do a non-sports one next as well. That'd probably be mix up a little bit. We should do a non-sports one. We've got plenty of topics, different forms of entertainment, music, movies, food, drink, life. I think we should do some of the life ones. Those will be fun.
Always a good chat, the life ones.
Yeah, I think that could be good fun, and we'll get some guests in for that. But we'll have an episode for you next week. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but it will be something, and it will be good, just like every single one of these has been. In the meantime, go give us a follow. Good Teams Win Great Teams cover over on Spotify. You'll be notified when a new episode drops, and YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok at GTW_GTC. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.